Bizarre Brain Comics. Hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I'm Gary, your host. And this is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and examine the stories and the art. And this time, I want to take a little look at this Kiddie comic from Barbour Christian Comics. A comic version of the story of Noah's Ark. And this is intended for small children. And this is written and drawn by Al Hartley, who I've talked about several times here before. And this comic is in line with the Spire comics. I'll show you. In the back, they have the ads for the Al Hartley Archie Spire comics. But Barbour bought Spire comics and continued publishing and republishing those older comics. And of course, Al Hartley did those Archie comics because he was an Archie cartoonist and had an in. So I had an in with Archie and got the company to allow licensing of those characters for those comics. And of course, then he also did several other religious comics not associated with Archie. Some were adaptations of Christian books, and some were original stories. And there's not to be confused with the Chick comics. It's a far cry from the Chick comics, because the Chick comics are just, although they're having some wonderful, beautiful artwork, had a real, just an outright negative and hateful messages. Not exclusively, not entirely, but largely. And here, of course, has all the Noah's Ark tropes, the old man, all the cutesy little animals, the boat, and the rainbow. And so, Al Hartley, he did a very nice job with the artwork. It made it even slightly more simplified than he did his Archie work. And very cutesy. And he put it in contemporary times, placed it in contemporary times, as opposed to the ancient story. And we've shown that before when I did the DC Comics version of the Bible. And what was the other one? The Robert Crumb Bible. But anyway, the kids are Noah's kids and grandchildren are showing up, and his wife is having a fit. And because they get there, and Grandpa's making a boat, and it shows him just building this boat in no time, when he was supposed to be 600 years old. But it's okay, because it's all humor, and says it's going to be cute. I mean, going to be raining soon, and it's cute and kind of fun. Shows people going about their lives very complacent sometimes, and how the world is polluted and people have polluted themselves, etc., etc. And God's going to wash it all away. And in no time, he's built that whole boat and starts loading bales of hay on board. And then pretty soon, the kids ask him, "Well, Grandpa, how are we going to get all the animals?" He said, "We won't have to. They'll come on their own." And then here all the animals come 2 by 2. All the familiar animals marching in. And the very cartoonish and cutesy versions of the animals. And they made even the dangerous animals more cutesy. And some of the kids were kind of timid about getting on the boat with those critters. And then there's Grandma bringing all kinds of supplies for them on board. And then it starts raining, and people start laughing at Noah, and you know the story. You know the story. And then how the water shows the water rising, and it's a good way of showing that time. And then the boat is floating away, and how they're taking care of the animals and living on the boat, and Grandma keeps complaining, and we just have to trust. And then 150 days later, well, they hit bottom, so that must be when they hit the top of the mountain, and they set out the birds. You know the story. And eventually, the dove brings back an olive branch, and then the water keeps receding, and they're sitting on top of the mountain, and then they let all the animals out, and they're all out, and everything's growing and green, and all the plants are growing, and the animals are there, and they're going to sacrifice, make a burnt offering, and all that other stuff, and they're praying, and it's all so cutesy, so innocent. And then the rainbow, and so which is his promise never to flood the earth again, and all this other cutesy stuff. Then Noah listened to God and saved his family, etc., etc., etc. And for what it is, as a piece of artwork, it's fine for kids. It's cute. Now, for the problems that I've got with it is that even though it is brought up once here in the story, and since soon the whole world is going to be a swimming pool, and everybody's laughing, and where is it? And it'll take a lot of water to wash away all bad things, Grandpa. You mean everybody in the world will drown? But I thought God was love. How can he drown everybody? God is love, but those folks don't want that kind of love. Well, this is kind of a theological problem. Besides the fact that we know historically and scientifically and geologically that this event never happened. Problem, it's okay as a fairy tale, but even so, even in this context, it takes very little effort to see that the God in this story is a monster, because he destroys everybody, all the innocent people, all the little babies, all the animals, and that's in the context of the story. I'm not saying reality. And all the plant life, all the animals, all the sea life, everything is destroyed. So there's no explanation on how the animals of the sea managed to survive. Of course, one person could not have built a boat that size, and the size of the boat described in the context of the story could not hold that many animals. Plus, it would not be seaworthy; it would crack in two. And we know, but even beyond that, we know that there was not then, and if there wasn't then, there sure isn't now enough water on the planet to flood it that high. It's supposed to be 20 cubits above the highest mountain. Now, what they did, now we know historically, the story was adapted, basically swiped from other sources and adapted for their own culture. And there were a couple of very bad floods in historical times, which may have been the inspiration for the original story. That, it's like it got blown up and exaggerated. And of course, these people had a very small concept of the world. So when they said the world was flooded, to them, the whole world was flooded. If it was flooded for many miles around, to them, that was the whole world. And there's no way you could have had all these animals and taken care of them. They would have died in days just from asphyxiation from the gases from the droppings. They could not have carried enough supplies or water. besides that, all that fresh water into the ocean would have killed all the sea life and plant life. All the plant life on the planet would have been destroyed, so that when the waters did recede, there would have been no plants for the animals to eat, and they would have wound up eating each other. For the carnivores would have eaten all the other critters before they could have reproduced. Plus, we know through genetics that the event never happened. We know geologically it never happened. We know historically it never happened, because while this was supposed to be going on and the whole world destroyed, other civilizations and cultures just kept right on going, knew nothing about it. And all that. Plus, then you get down to the rainbow. This is supposed to be the first appearance of a rainbow. Well, that's a matter of physics and optics, and as long as the physical requirements for producing a rainbow could have happened, it would have happened. But you need an eye to see the rainbow. And you can stand in one place and see a rainbow, and stand a few hundred yards away and not see the rainbow, because so it's very dependent on where the optics and the laws of physics involving the optics. So that's it. Those are just the problems I've got with the story. Overall, it's a good kiddie book, as long as it is, it's something that's emphasized as a fairy tale, because it is not history, not reality. And so that's all I've got for you this time around with Al Hartley's interpretation of the story of Noah's Ark from New Barbour Christian Comics. Thank you for joining me. Please like, share, and subscribe. And do leave a comment. What do you think of this Noah's Ark book? What do you think of my interpretation of the history of it, etc.? Any questions, anything like that, let me know in the comments below. And remember, comics are art.